It was incredible from start to finish. I have roughly an hour and a half of sunlight, so let's hope I can get this entire video done within that time frame. Hello friends, I am back once again. It's been a little while since I posted a video. I know this sounds very deja vu-like if you saw my one video where I came back to YouTube. Basically, I have no excuse once again. Life is just crazy and I got busy. I love making YouTube videos, so it's just been calling my name recently, and I figured I need to do what I love. So here I am, back again. Hopefully this time sticks around. Anyways, if you don't know who I am, my name is Grace. I used to kind of make videos here and there. I make TikTok videos. Not that that's like my job, but that's just something I do. I'm a nanny. I am 21 years old. I'll be 22 this year. My Taylor Swift birthday. Yeah, I just kind of post videos about my life and what I do and, you know, things I like, which includes today's video topic, which is about books I've been reading. If you don't know, I love reading books. If you follow me on TikTok or Instagram, you probably know I read quite a bit. I just recently got a Kindle, so this is my new pride and joy. It's everywhere with me. I kind of freak out if I don't have it, so I'm very much attached to it. But I have quite a bit of books that I have read so far into 2023. Also, Happy New Year. Haven't posted since last year, so it's March currently. So about 2.5 months into the year, and I have read a total of 8 books, which may not be a lot for some people, but for me that's quite a bit. It's actually the most I've ever read in that short amount of time, so I'm very pleased with myself, very excited. Today's video I'm going to be talking kind of not super in depth, but give a little bit of my personal opinion. Books I have read so far this year, what I'm currently reading, and a couple books that are on my to be read list that I will probably be reading after my current reads. We're just gonna get kind of straight into the video, and I'm gonna start talking about my books. These books are in no particular genre order. However, I am going to talk about them in the order that I've read them. I don't know, that's the way I want to do it. I have to get my Goodreads out. You want to be friends on Goodreads? I'm going to add the link to my profile. Let's be friends on Goodreads because I love getting new book suggestions. So please, let's be friends. Map this out so I can remember how much I rated each book. First book we are going to start with reviewing is 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. And if you happen to watch my last book video, I talked about a Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, which is by the same author. That is one of my favorite series, like thriller, suspense-wise. This book reminded me just how much I love Holly Jackson, love her writing style. This book had me on the edge of my seat from start to finish. The main character in this book, her name is Red, and she's got this secret. It doesn't get revealed until the very end. The story is basically about Red and 5 of her friends, so 6 in total, are in an RV. They are on a road trip for spring break, I believe, and as they are driving, they kind of get stuck in a dead end zone. There is a person who wants one of the friends dead and will not let them go until the secret is revealed. It doesn't say whose secret, but as you read the book, you find out everybody has their own kind of secret that they've been hiding. You try and figure out who could be the person they are trying to get to, and all this crazy stuff happens. Basically, nothing in this book is by accident. The suspense killed me. The plot twist was crazy. All I can say really is that this book was incredible. I love Holly Jackson. I loved A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, as I said. This book is a standalone. It has nothing to do with A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, but it's incredible. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. You'll see that's kind of a reoccurring theme with me. I think there are no bad books, but I will say not every book I read actually is a 5 stars, so, but most are. All I can say is if you choose to read it, you have no idea where it's going and what's gonna happen. I actually started it a couple days before New Year's Eve and I finished it New Year's Day, so I count it as a 2023 read. I could not put it down. It was just so good. I highly suggest reading this one, especially if you liked A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This is just as good. Next up, I read Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Again, if you know anything about me, Taylor Jenkins Reid is my girl. Again, if you watched my last book video, I said that The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is my favorite book of all time right now. I haven't read a book to really beat it. Basically, any Taylor Jenkins Reid book comes in a close second because I love them all. Overall, the theme of this book is it's a kind of dual point of view, but from the same girl. Basically, she's given 2 different options. Whether she wants to stay with this guy she's known for a long time and stay at this bar with him, or if she chooses to go home with her roommate. It shows the timeline of what in her life happens depending on the choice she makes at the beginning. And there's not really like a plot twist, I would say, but there's definitely lots of things that happen that I was not expecting to happen. It all comes together at the end, which I think was really cool. Not put this book down. Leaves on a cliffhanger basically every single chapter, and you have to keep reading to find out what happens after the next chapter, because it's every other chapter is like a different point of view. I love this book. I rated it 5 stars. Obvious, but in my eyes, it's a 5 out of 5 stars. This book also had me questioning my entire life at some points. Oh my gosh, what if I had chose something different? How would my life have changed? It got me kind of emotional, not gonna lie, but not in like, not that anything is like incredibly sad in this book to where I'm like sobbing. Could not handle the idea of my life being very different because of something that happened. So it just made me emotional in that way. If you have read this book and you know the different like point of views, let me know which point of view you liked better. The one where she stayed with the guy or where she went home with her roommate. I think I personally like the storyline with her going home with the roommate more. They were both equally good, and I think they both had a very deep impact on me. I also recommend this if you love Taylor Jenkins Reid, and if you just love a cute little romance story. That is also what this is about. The next book I read was actually recommended to me from lots of TikTok book talk pages, and it is If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. I have never read a book by this author before. I'm not even really sure if she has other books. I also know that there is another book that goes with this, I believe, in the opposite point of view. It comes out this year, I believe. Basically, it is a tragic romance type of story. Timeline of the story goes over, I believe, 4 to 5 years, kind of when they are freshmen in high school all the way up until I believe they are about to start college. It talks about these 2 characters. Their names are Autumn and Finn. They were like super inseparable, and then one day they weren't anymore, and it just goes over like the years of how they keep running into each other's lives and how feelings never really go away. Just kind of all this crazy stuff that happens in this book. I did think that parts of this book were very slow and it was kind of hard to like really get through them. Nonetheless, I still did. It's a good book. I believe I rated it, let me just check. I rated it like 3.5 stars out of 5 because I liked it. It definitely wasn't as like crazy as TikTok made me believe it was. People said that they cried so hard they like threw up. I did cry. I cried at like every book I read, but I wasn't crying that hard to this one. Still a good read though, but definitely more on the like rating, you know, kind of in the middle. This was book number 3, 2023. This one, obviously I had to read because the show for this just came out, and that is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have had this book for quite a while and never really like picked it up to read because I was scared it wasn't going to live up to the hype that is around it. But I was surely mistaken because this might be my second favorite book. Who don't know what this book is about, Daisy Jones is the main girl. She is a singer and wants to, you know, really make something of herself. So she meets this band called The Six and does a song with them. She features on one of their songs. It becomes like a sensation, an overnight hit type of thing. And so she eventually joins the band and just so much drama happens within it. There's, you know, some really crazy points where you don't really know what's gonna happen or, you know, what was real, because the entire book is actually an interview. It starts with all the characters kind of introducing themselves and talking about what happened between the band members and, you know, what happened on tour, what happened in the studio, all that kind of stuff. I'm not really sure what exactly is the truth because some of the characters kind of clash with each other and say different things. So you kind of just have to form your own opinion about certain scenarios in this book. I absolutely loved this book. It was incredible from start to finish. Absolutely love all of the music inside this book. I love Fleetwood Mac. It's pretty much, if you love Fleetwood Mac, and this is the book for you, because I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe somebody said that this is like very loosely based on Stevie Nicks. Not sure if that's 100% true, but that's what I read online. This book was incredible. I loved it so much. The show is amazing. If you haven't watched it, it's on Amazon Prime. 10 out of 10 show. Absolutely love it. It's so much like the book. It makes the book so much better. You get to hear what the music is like live and, you know, actually real. They made a whole album for it, which is also incredible. Let Me Down Easy is probably going to be my #1 song on Spotify Wrapped this year. Also, if you don't know, Taylor Jenkins Reid, she has 4 books that are kind of all in the same universe. It's 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, Daisy Jones and the Six, Malibu Rising, and Carrie Soto is Back, which I haven't read these 2 yet. They're on my TBR, but they all have a character that pops up. His name is McRiva, and he kind of just connects all the universes together. There are some other characters, I believe, that have popped up here and there, but he is in, I believe, all 4 of the books, and so people call it the McRiva universe. But I like that all these universes are connected. It brings a more like personal feel to those books, especially after reading The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This is a 5 out of 5 star for me read. I definitely think you should read this if you like Taylor Jenkins Reid, if you like, you know, a romance story, but also if you just love the 70s type of vibe and Fleetwood Mac type of music and all this kind of stuff. I love it. The next couple books I read actually on my Kindle, or they were an audiobook. I'm just going to include pictures over here. This is my Kindle. It's just a basic, I think like first edition type of Kindle. A little pop socket on the back that matches my plant right here. I have Kindle Unlimited, so I, you know, have access to quite a bit of books. Just kind of been powering through whatever is available. And that first book that I read with my Kindle is 8,000 Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. This book has such a like cringy name and everything, but I think the story is very sweet, and the reasoning behind the title and all of that is very sweet as well. The main character in the book, or the main characters I should say, are Poppy and Rune. I hope I'm saying those names right. Apologies if not. Those are the main characters in the book. They have known each other since I believe they were like 5 years old. When Poppy is 8, her grandma talks about how she had this great love with her grandpa and how he gave her 1,000 kisses that were like super meaningful to her and stuff, and she filled up a jar of hearts with all of these kisses. She gives Poppy a jar full of 1,000 blank papers, and she was like, this is for you and your great love. Use it wisely, fill it up. She goes and tells Rune about it, and Rune is like, I'm going to fill this up for you. So stories about them being in love, kind of the timeline over so many years. It starts when the first time they kiss is when they're 8 years old, and you know, it goes up until they're like 15. Unfortunately, something happened in between this time for a couple years that forces them to drift apart. When they finally like are able to come back together, things aren't the same anymore, and there's something really tragic that happened in between that time, and you have to kind of read along to find out what it is and why things are so different between the two of them. I thought this book was really good. It also was a TikTok like recommended book, and it was one where people said like, oh, it's really sad, like you're gonna, you know, cry until you throw up. I cried very hard at this book. Not until I threw up, because only one thing recently did that for me, and it was an episode of The Last of Us. So gotta be really up there to make me cry that hard. This book still made me cry pretty hard. I actually cried at work because I finished it while I was nannying, while the kids were sleeping, and I cried. I thought it was quite an easy read. I always appreciate. Sometimes I just really need something easy to read and something quick to read to kind of get me going on maybe like a longer, harder book. I rated it 4 stars. I think really it's like 3.5, maybe 4. I can't remember. Goodreads doesn't let you do half a rating. I definitely recommend reading it if you're maybe like in a reading slump and need a quick read. I love a good cry with a book. I think, you know, if a book makes me cry, I kind of rate it pretty high, because why am I feeling all these emotions if it's not good, you know? Now we are going to get into 2 books that I loved so much, and that is, I'm going to talk about both of them at the same time because they go together. That was The Housemaid and The Housemaid's Secret. These books, I love a good suspense, psychological type of thriller. Nobody could have prepared me for how good these were going to be to me. Basically, these books are about this maid. Her name is Millie. She is, in the first book, she is a live-in maid for a couple, and she is forced to live in this upstairs attic that locks from the outside. Kind of sketchy, kind of scary from the get-go, and she can't really do anything about it because she keeps hinting throughout the story that she really needs to keep this job, she really needs the money, like she really needs a place to live, all this stuff. You don't find out until later why she needs to keep this job and everything. Gets hired by the wife. The wife, she's just very back and forth with the way she treats Millie, and the way she will say one thing but then she lies and says she never said something, or she said something different, most seemingly on purpose to get Millie in trouble, or, you know, to throw her under the table. The husband defends her and she kind of falls for him, while the wife is just, you know, going back and forth with her all the time. And then all of a sudden, one day, Millie finds herself locked in this attic and she doesn't know what to do, and now she has to figure out how to escape, what to do. The person who locked her in the room is tormenting her and everything, and she has to find a way to get out. The first book of the Housemaid kind of series just had so many twists and turns, a plot twist that was just insane, and finding out Millie's like secret and everything was also so crazy. Kept me on the edge of my seat. I had no idea what was going to happen the entire time. You don't know who to root for, you don't know who to blame, you don't know what to do. 5 out of 5 stars, absolutely loved it. I think it was so far my best read of 2023. And then going into the second book, it kind of has a very similar storyline. There are a few things that are different, but it's kind of the same idea. I also recommend that one just as much. I definitely think you should read both of the books. They're both 5 out of 5 stars for me. And just last book so far of 2023 that I've read is The Perfect Child by Lucinda Berry. This was an audiobook that I listened to. Listening to this as an audiobook was so scary, actually. The story is about this couple who is unable to have children, and they are both doctors. This little toddler girl comes into their hospital. She's very severely hurt. Seems to be like a lot of issues going on, and the husband is her doctor and starts taking care of her and just kind of falls in love with her, wants to adopt her because he just loves her like she's his own child. They go through the process of adopting her, and then they have to deal with, you know, the consequences of getting what you always wanted, is what the book said. Anyways, they have to go through raising her as their own and just kind of dealing with lots of trauma that she has gone through, and you know, some scary stuff that she does. A very crazy read from start to finish. Rated 5 out of 5 stars. It was just so good. That is the end of all the books I have read so far this year. I'm going to quickly talk about the books I'm currently reading and then a couple books that I'm going to be reading soon. So I'm the type of person who likes to read a couple books at once and go kind of back and forth between them. If I get tired of one and want to take a break, I read a different one. I also have been listening to more audiobooks just because it comes with my Kindle Unlimited. I am currently listening to the first Hunger Games book. I've already read it before and everything, but it's been a very long time. So I am currently listening to it and preparing for the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes movie coming out this year. Absolutely love it. I've always loved the Hunger Games. I think it's one of the best dystopian type of series, especially from a book to movie series. I think it's one of the best as well. No bad thoughts about the Hunger Games. I love it. I already know it's such a good book. And currently for like physical reads, a physical actual book I'm reading is The Obsession by Jesse Sutanto. I'm so sorry if I say that wrong. Kind of like a stalker vibe book. I haven't read too much into it. I'm only like 10 to 15 pages in, but from the back area, it kind of gives the vibe that this guy is like a stalker. He's stalking this one girl and he's like, she's in love with me and nobody believes me, blah, blah, blah. So it seems pretty interesting. If you've read this book, let me know what you thought about it. Those are my current reads, and then my to-be read list currently is the books by Taylor Jenkins Reid that I mentioned earlier, so Malibu Rising and Carrie Soto's Back, because I would like to read all those books within that universe. And then a couple books that I really want to get into, or basically just an author that I want to get into this year, is Emily Henry, and I have almost all of her books already on my bookshelf. I just haven't read them yet. I have Beach Read, People We Meet on Vacation, and Book Lovers. I know that she just came out with another book, Happy Place, which I haven't gotten yet because I should probably read the other 3. I heard they're very good, like romance books, so hopefully I get into those this year and read those. That is all that's really on my TBR right now. Reading has just been such a big hobby for me lately this year, more than any other year. as much as I love reading in the past, this year has just been like at the top for how much I've read. My current goal for books this year to read is 15 and I'm at 8, so I'm a little over halfway. So I'm hoping I will beat that goal soon and read a lot more than that this year and keep you guys updated with how many books I read. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really hope you're glad that I'm posting a video again. I hope I can keep consistent back again with posting videos. I'm gonna try my best. It just gets so hard in the winter and with my job and everything, but I'm really gonna try because I love making YouTube videos. So, but yeah, I really hope you enjoyed. If you guys did, let me know. Let me know what you're reading currently. If you have any book suggestions, I love getting book suggestions and putting them on my list and having them ready to go whenever I need a book. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today's video. Yeah, I hope to see you all next time. Bye!